It's the Caleb Lee MTGO
Show. What do you do here, huh? What do you do here? Kind of a banal opening pack. You could take Counterspell. That card's always good, right? Yeah, let's take a Counterspell. There's a Tarn here, too. It's interesting. So none of this is like an amazing follow-up to a Counterspell. I like the Crocus. I like Sneak Attack. I like those like guiding cards that just like give you a direction. Give you a direction to draft towards. Oh, Deck Fade's interesting here, huh? I think I'm gonna snag that thing. Ponder a little bit better at like efficiently putting together your Sneak Attack combo, but Dak just has the bonus of like, oh, you've got a Blightsteel, it's mine now. You know, that little free win aspect attached. And it also filters. Hey, one of them there Annihilators. Well, let's play pretty well with Sneak Attack, huh? We have to pass Steam Vents, and we already passed Tarn, so that's unfortunate, but hey, whatever. Thinking about Time Warp, thinking about Fractured Identity. I'm just gonna grab the Warp here. Rather than trying to add another color in here. Yeah, I did a lot of cooking today. I meant to be live around 2 and do a Monster Train run. But I did a lot of cooking instead. I cooked lunch, and that went over pretty well. And then I was cooking this this leftover frozen meat because I had defrosted in the fridge, and it just like needed to get cooked, right? And I was putting in the slow cooker, and I wanted it to give like some kind of browning before I put it in the slow cooker, and so I put it in the oven on broil, right? And I was like, I'm a fucking genius. And I like coated it in ghee, which doesn't burn very easy and stuff. And I was like, this is the smartest fucking thing. I was reverse searing a snake, right? But instead of doing that, I'm putting something in the slow cooker immediately. And then I burned the skin, burned the edges a bit. Because that's so easy to do in a broiler. It's like the easiest goddamn thing to do in the universe. And I felt like an idiot. It's mostly good, though. Anyway, that's been my day. That's been my day. And spending a little bit too much time on social media. But, you know what? We're not all perfect, right? Caleb, I'm the smartest man alive. Exactly, Spawn. That's exactly what it was. I'm a fucking genius. Had I browned something in a broiler before slow cooking in the past? No, I hadn't done that. I've done baking at high temps to give something a little bit of browning, but not like actual broiling. That's smart, Spawn. That's just smart. You just call broilers grills. So broilers are grills and grills are grills. Broiling is so different from grilling, though. It's all like liquid based. At least the way I do it. Make a lot of stews. Grilling is pretty flexible here in the States, too, though. Some people mean something real specific. Others just mean, like, a way of preparing food. Like, social function versus... maybe. Well, maybe. The Sanctum. I wonder, like, what we would even splash in green, though. Like, Oko? God, I got by Manamorphose so hard the other day. The Manamorphose into Counterspell. Grills or barbecues? Not in, Yes. If someone says they're barbecuing or they're grilling, they typically mean something similar. Barbecue can mean... like smoking and slow roasting and stuff too, though. Good evening, Bardaboos. Barbecuing in terms of slow cooking isn't really a thing there. Oh, interesting. No slow roasted pork. It feels like that's such a huge part of it, but obviously I'm coming from an American perspective. Let's grab this fucking Emrakul. So we need a Show and Tell, a Through the Breach, a Soul Ring, a Black Lotus, a Recall, a Time Walk. Hey, a Volcanic Island. Yeah, we passed the Tarn. And it must have been Steam Vents. We passed some other fucking duel. Pretty happy with the Volk pickup. Twister, Flame Slash, Atraxa. I'm gonna grab the Atraxa. You got roasts, but they're done in an oven usually, English style. Yeah, we do those too. The nice thing about the slow cooker is that it's like very hard to fuck up. But I still manage sometimes. I need to play on easy mode. Many Americans will tell you the difference between barbecue and grilling. Sure, but like the terms are used interchangeably depending on what area of the US you're in. Or cookout, right? Cookout, grilling. Having people over for a barbecue or a cookout or a grill can all mean functionally the same thing, or it can mean like very different things. Another talisman, I guess. I like to leave Blast Fireball a lot. I think I might prefer Stern Scolding here. Hey, that's kind of good here, huh? That's kind of good. Got the old Palantir Emrakul combo. Fair enough, Lord Sorrow. People can get, like, really fucking persnickety about barbecue in particular. It's only true barbecue if it comes from the dry rub region of Alabama. Hell yeah, Gooby. Come over at 4 a.m. when I fire up the smoker. But I've also heard about people having a barbecue where they, like you joke, but like I've heard of people having a barbecue where they just like roast a pig. And people could bring over, you know, patties or whatever they want put on the grill. Tempted by the Cryptic. I should maybe grab Heat. Maybe grab any removal at all. Hey, Flame Slash. The Ghost Vacuum would be a great sideboard card, but such a good. Wheel of Fortune and Narset in the same pack? What? Well, the Narset's going to help me find Sneak Attack more often, and currently Sneak Attack's my only way of actually forcing something through. So I think it's a little bit more important here. More snobbish Spawn. More like, not like, this is my heritage, but more like, well, people in Alabama won't know true barbecue because, you know, us in South Carolina have it all figured out. It needs to be made this very specific way, and if it's not real barbecue. Even though your way has been done for the same number of generations as my way, a single state away, you know. That's what I mean by persnickety. I mean, getting like hyper-focused on definitions that are all like a little bit arbitrary. Elitism. This is a hell of a pack, huh? We got Show and Tell, Archon, and Mana Drain. There's like a lot of blue here. You could almost like take the Archon and try and wheel the Show and Tell. It's like so important that we get a backup way of cheating something out, though. I'm just going to take the Show and Tell. Just going to grab Show, hope it works. Feels bad to miss out on the Mana Drain. Feels bad to miss out on the Archon. Archon's one of the better ones to put in, because they put in an Emrakul. They fucking eat shit. But, oh well. Kind of like Texans and chili or Texans and barbecue, yeah. Beans and chili? That's not chili. Really? Because, like, everybody else seems to like beans and chili fine. That's not real chili. An electrical grid connected to other areas for stability. That's not a real electrical grid. Too soon, Caleb. Too soon. Do you want a worm? I kind of want a worm. Sure. How'd the prison stacks deck do? That deck trophied. The superior starch for chili. Oh man, I'm not gonna be good for this conversation. Cornbread sounds amazing though. Could have almost ended up as an academy type deck. Yeah, Portal works with Show and Tell, but it does not work with Sneak Attack. Kind of like Coalition Relic. Kind of. Ooh. Nice stabilizer. Yeah, there's an artifact deck in there somewhere. Have I ever had a Kitten Goyf deck? I have not. I kind of underdraft Kitten. I underdraft Kitten a little bit. You saw a video of Mexican baked potatoes. These do look pretty good. Corn baked potatoes meets tacos. Oh, got the guac in there. This looks, yeah. It kind of looks like white people tacos, but then just like smashed into a potato. Taco stuffed sweet potatoes. I'd eat that shit. How do I feel about this ballista? I like that it's an artifact creature for the unholy heat. It's kind of whatever though, The Seething Song only works with sneak attack, maybe delayed blast fireball. I think I'm gonna cut it. Oh, interesting, Korath. You'd look at it more as a curry, chili. Chili specifically is more of a curry and serve it over rice. I've never had chili over rice. Like I said, I'm gonna be like ignorant in this conversation because like the way that we do chilies here, is just like make a shitload of it for when you need to feed a lot of people in the cold winter. Maybe some hot cider, and the starch that you would have would just be like whatever like rolls or bread you have handy. I hadn't even thought about cornbread or rice or all these other options. More of a like once a winter potlucky type food. You want to share a YouTube video of the Mexican potato? Yeah, go for it. I'm gonna cut Lavamancer. And maybe Burst Lightning. 3 removal spells seems pretty good. This is a deck. Seems like a deck. This is a like hope that the show and tell, my show and tell, is like better than whatever they're putting in sort of deck. I could see playing the Coalition Relic here. Actually, playing the Coalition Relic lets me hardcast at Traxa. I kind of dig that. Alright, I'll cut the Manamorphose for the Coalition Relic. And then I guess I'll play the Botanical Sanctum. I'm fucking curious about this. No! I lost it. There we are. Mexican baked potato, what we got? Very jealous of that cooking area. Ooh. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I would like to eat that. I'd eat all of that. Oh man, I should just become like a food react channel where I just get slowly more and more hungry over the course of my stream. Let's see. One of these is blue-red. The other one's blue-green, I think. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue sources. This would be 12 bloom. 4, 5, 6, 7 red. 7 red is not enough. Is the right number of lands? I don't think so. We get one more. Beauty. You feel like by the time you get to the potato, it's just a greasy mess. What? No way. You're getting all the flavors from the sauce from the meat and all that, getting down into it. I usually have a baked potato with steak, and then I'm like rubbing the potato around in the steak juices, and oh my god, want as much of that flavor as possible. Potato's job is to absorb all the flavor, right? That's what it's like the most bland starch of all time. It's like, I am here to absorb whatever. Have I been to Piquito before? In Portland? You're asking if I've been to a specific restaurant in Portland? I haven't been to Portland in a very long time. Actually, it hasn't been that long. But no. I just remembered I was there for shooting Professor's video. But I didn't have much time to go out and eat and whatnot. We were recording. I really wanted to sneak off and go check out Powell's. I haven't been there in a long time. I think I just need to make a time to stop by Portland. Was I in Portland the last time I made someone? I made someone very recently. I hit Emrakul off of a Tolly like 2 days ago. it was not actually very long ago. You like gratin potatoes? I find those kind of mid. I mean, they're good, but the ceiling on potatoes is so high. So high. I'm a mashed person just because you can do like so much with various herbs and cheeses and gravies. They have a third color, huh? I think gratin potatoes were just like perfect. The perfect FOF. Maybe like a little overdone where I grew up. Lose some of their majesty. A timely flame slash, huh? We're gonna leave this talisman up in case we find our counterspell and want to grab it. There's a dish in Scotland called mince and tatties. Basic as fuck. Cooked mince in a gravy with mashed potatoes. Yeah, I went to a mash bar when I was in Scotland, and I had a great time. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Caleb Heaven right there. Mashed potatoes, are they better silky or fluffy? What do you mean by silky? Like velvety or creamy? I'm used to them being fluffy. Yeah, it doesn't feel like mashed potatoes to me. The more like puree it is. Is this lag? Yeah, a little bit of lag there. When I mash potatoes, I leave skins on. Adds a little bit of flavor, a little bit of texture, and it's much easier. And I'm lazy. But I don't have a strong preference. If I'm at like a restaurant or something, skins on or off doesn't really factor into whether I want to order them. Oh, ship it up. Hi, KO Lost. Thanks for the sub. Thanks for 17 months there. Okay. Well, the night set's going to prevent them from digging in. They know about the counterspell. Well, that'll be an interesting Doomsday stack. He said these guys throw a good live show. I've heard from Australians that it's a high variance live show because you don't know how drunk they're going to be. Not sure how on time they're going to be, but maybe that's part of the charm, huh? Oh, shit, what up? Hey, Orange Scissors. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. They putting Thought Scour into their pile. That's still a Narset over here. I mean, they can clear with the tar pit, but Buy some potatoes with the sub money. Will do. Orange scissors. Will do. I wonder if I can write that down. Yeah, I got a little fucking thing here. Pen. I got a little fucking to-do list. Buy potatoes with sub money. Do you have any requests on like how I prepared those potatoes? Bake them, mash them. I do a pretty good breakfast potato where I just like take the mini potatoes, steam them in the microwave for a couple minutes, and then just fucking fry them up with like eggs and stuff, like mash them. Not like like hard mash like you would mashed potatoes, but just to like make them like super flat, you know? So they cook faster. Cook them in the bacon fat and stuff for some butter. Hey, Whiskey Weasel thinks of $4.20 there. This might be bad. They draw 1 and discard 2. Brain freeze, interesting. You're not bold enough to plus them there. I thought it was interesting. Yeah, resolves. They draw 1 and then discard 2. The deck fade and uptick with an Narset out. So I'm like draining the resources, but it's also like getting them closer to their Oracle. So it's not a confident uptick, that's for sure. Oh, they're scouring themselves. So if I auto-aura bounce the Oracle with the trigger on the stack, then they have the mana to replay it. So I have to counterspell here, and they probably have a counterspell for me, huh? Bummer. If it's a mana leak, I'll feel real silly. Okay, memory lapse. Not much I can do about that. And this costs 2, right? Oh, well, it's actual 4. It doesn't discount for these legends. Well, anyway. Interesting game, yeah. Interesting for sure. Certainly made my deck uptick look silly. I thought about grabbing the Palantir, because they kind of have to give me the card. With them being at 10 life. Might have found me an Eldrazi for a win the next turn. I've not forgotten your song request, Whiskey Weasel. Get you in a sec here. That might have been why I thought so too, Beedel. The Mox Amber Seas Planeswalkers. This is Whiskey Weasel's song request saying the ladies put on a good show. This track's called Groping Dogs, Gushing Blood. And it's by a band called Die Spitz. Die Space Spitz. Spitz with a Z. Z on the end. Can you do song requests on mobile? Certainly can. I'll get this Needlehead down on 2 here. Thassa's X uses last known information. So if you play it with 0, then even if the Thassa gets killed, he's gonna be 0. So you kill a Thassa with 0 cards in the library, they're gonna win. But you kill a Thassa with 1 card in the library, then they're not gonna win. I feel like my rules explanation was off and confusing, which is why I'm giving the follow-ups. Bounce would have worked there, yes. Bounce would have bought me a turn, and then Dak would have decked him out. If and we'd had the mana for it. They opened for Emil and the Sniffers a while back. Nice. That sounds like a fun show. TBS. Yeah, Cody. Turn-based strategy. I did play a Flash game for a while back in high school that turned it into a real-time strategy, and it did it by giving all of the pieces a cooldown. So you could move all of your pieces as fast as you could click them, but then there was but then they had like a cooldown before you could move them again. Which is interesting, because you can't just like move to take another piece, because the other person would move that piece to dodge. So you end up like doing these like combinations of moves where you like cover escape paths and stuff. Move like 4 or 5 pieces at once in a tank. Yeah, Kung Fu Chess. I played a shitload of that game. Had one account up to black belt. But I was mostly in the shitter brown range. And I mostly did the 4-way variant. The 4-way version. With a lot of like 2v2. This fucking Doomsday, Apparently you can still play at Mio. It's called something different now. I signed on and like all my muscle memory was gone, and I was like, holy shit. I'm so bad at this now. Hey, Rotten Agenda, thanks for the 19 months there. My Tuesday is going well, thank you. Right back at you, Rotten. Powerdad 5000, thanks for the $5 donation. Mio, what time era were you playing at? When I first started, I think someone by the name 4-Way was like considered the best. Kind of like the Kai Bud of Magic the Gathering. But then Asin dominated for a long time. And when I left, Asin was still considered the best. But when I went back recently, nobody knew who the hell I was talking about. Oh, fuck do you mean? Fair enough, Mio. Fair enough. Yeah, it was recommended as a freeware game on Computer Gaming World, is where I tried it out. Where I got the tip. Teenage Caleb was like, a free game? Fuck yeah. And then we had like community run tournaments and stuff. Really fun. Clans and everything. Teams for 2v2 events. If I was the opponent, I'd be tempted to try and win here. Being at 6 life. We could rip like a Chain Lightning or something, or have more mana available for disruption if we get another turn. Frightening Search, sure. You did indeed do it correctly, Power Dad. I'll fire it up right now. Power Dad says, not sure if you like Type O or Twitching Tongues, but this is still a really good cover. This is Gravitational Constant by Twitching Tongues. Alright, they just need to draw 4 more cards, and this Razorkin's got them. I feel you, Power Dad, I feel you. Hey Spawn, thanks for $5 there. Appreciate you. Green's Undefined Witherbloom Apprentice and Uro is cute. Like just those 2 cards. I assume the opponent's got a reanimation effect if they haven't conceded here yet. Some way to rebuy the Oracle here. Feel free to spend your donation money on potatoes too. I'm gonna have so many fucking potatoes. So Palantir draws me a card, but it means that I won't have Otawara. I think I'm probably supposed to leave up the Otawara, right? Very not confident. The issue is they would reanimate the Oracle and then also like probably have a draw spell to make it just a win here. Or play the Oracle twice, right? Yeah, there's a few issues. I guess a draw spell kills them with Razorkin, so they can't use that. So Thought Scour to get an empty library doesn't work. Guess we'll see. Oh, that's just lethal. Unless they have a Shallow Grave here. Shallow Grave with the Needlehead trigger on the stack would be real cute. Real fucking adorable. The instant speed win. Oh, they don't have it. Sweet. They're just getting some info. I actually want some more instant speed removal now that I've seen more of their deck. The 3 green sources so I can cast the Worm. I think the green sources are mostly so I can cast a Troxoff Coalition Relic. This hand's pretty dog shit. Let's keep it. The Sneak Attack makes things a little bit better. The opponent does have some interaction, though, some disruption. You got it. Yeah, you got it. Ooh, you got it. Talisman here would be real nice. Speed us up a lot. I think I dig this track. Heavy guitars. Echoey kind of snare. We get a pleasant little solo here. Is that what we're getting? You know, any of the 64 persons firing? 49 joined. Yeah, it seems unlikely. Fair enough. Feels like those things always used to fire, huh? Hopefully that's not a bad sign. It looked like the earlier ones in the day were firing on previous days. Yeah, like this one's going, right? Yeah. Nobody wants to play Vintage Cube at 4:30 p.m. on a central day. They have 2 cover albums covering the Misfits. Nice. That sounds like something I'd be into. Too late for EU, too early for NA. Really? I mean, it seems like it should be about a perfect time for NA, like people getting home from work. Too early for the West Coast, for sure. It's only like 2:30 over there. But at a certain point, like, these things, people can't play in these things, right? Like, it's a tough sell for a 7 p.m. start time for an event that takes 5 hours. Opponent just went through a whole lot of filtering. 6 minutes to my 18 here. If me and the fiance want to get to Europe for 4 years, I'm always welcome. For 4 years? Oh, I see. Yeah. I was like, well, that's a very specific and long, long time. Oh, right. We're middle class, nestled safely in our very low crime, good vibes city. So a lot of people will be hurting over the next 4 years, but it will not be us. Sure. I wonder what they sealed for. 8 mana away from Ulamog. So close. This is indeed game 3. Well, the opponent had 4 minutes here. Could slam Sneak Attack here. I think that'd be pretty bad. He did make the Pandemic worse than it could have been, for sure. But I was also, like, in a place where I could uniquely work from home and such. Yeah, there's almost something to letting the shark resolve and then double shock it. Stern Scolding's so good against Oracle. They get a pilot and a treasure from this. Yeah, they might just have me then. I was thinking this was going to give them one permanent, not several. I should have waited one more turn then with the sneak attack. The issue is they're playing a 2-drop and then they're playing. I don't think they're going to Doomsday this time. I think they're going to play the 2-drop and then Smog for the win, which is very embarrassing with me having 2 burn spells in hand. All right, let's play Spawn's Summer Quest here, since we're in a punk mood today. This is Ceremony Sick by Disgraceland UK. Did they have to go AFK? Nope, they have been here the entire time. They have indeed resolved some Doomsday piles. I'm not really sure what they're doing right now, though. There is quite the time difference. Could be some lag in there, sure. That was weird. You see their clock go from like 2 minutes to 120 there. They are doomsdaying, sure. What's the least amount of time I've had on the clock in one in game 3? I've won on the meter showing 0 seconds a few times. My proudest one, I was playing Mirari's Wake. I was playing Wake versus Opposition, and I had them right. I had the game locked up, and they stuck an upheaval through, and there was like 2.5 minutes on the clock. And I don't know if you know anything about Mirari's Wake, but it's heralded as like one of the slowest, clunkiest fucking decks of all time, of all Magic history. Extremely slow deck. But because I'd had like everything set up, when I went to discard, when I played my land for my turn, I went to discard, I could like sculpt a hand that could win like as quickly as possible. It was just like land, fucking rampant growth, removal spell, Wrath of God, Mirari's Wake, fucking storm card that made some 4/4s. And I ended up getting Xaxes damage in on the final turn. And my god, was that a sweat? This fucking Tarfire, right? I put him at 3 life here. This track does bang, yeah. What's that, 7 minutes? 7 seconds to my 16? That was a little cheesy, but I'm gonna do this. Extremely cheesy. And the dirty tire fire right there. I think if you're 16 minutes behind, though, I think that's fine. Personally. What is this? What is this? This looks like a mult to me. It's kind of close, though. I think if that was on the draw, I'd be interested, right? Because at the Stern Scolding for turn 1, and then you probably hit the Talisman on 2. A good lesson to learn for them? Yeah, I'm sure they're grateful. I'm sure they're so grateful. Well, thank you for teaching me this lesson that you time out if you use your whole clock. If we were playing in paper, then we would have just, like, drawn because of their use of the clock. One of the many reasons that I prefer Magic Online for, like, actual competitive events. You can't beat the pacing in paper play, though. And, like, seeing old friends and stuff. Meeting people. Playing in paper, you'd call a judge. I would call a judge for slow play if the event is competitive enough. For sure. But calling a judge for slow play isn't a perfect answer to slow play. It does not get enforced in a uniform way. Just have one person judge all Magic tournaments, so that's not a problem. That's a good idea, Dragon Crow. That's a fucking... You got some good ideas. I'm gonna show until now for the prowess trigger. Then I attack and I have one more damage, right? Is this better? Strictly superior. Reasonable pace is hard to determine. My most frustrating time ever dealing with slow play, I don't think calling it slow play is even accurate. My opponent just decided to not play and try and get a draw. And then he stopped responding to me. And they stopped making playing decisions. And the only time that they would make a play is if I called the judge to watch them for slow play. And the judge would always stand... it was an understaffed GP. And the judge would always stand behind me so they could see when the judge was there. And they would play at a reasonable pace all of a sudden, like magically. Just like normal, like they had the rest of the match. And then when the judge would leave, as soon as they left, they'd put their hand down. And they'd just look at the table and make no play decisions. And just nothing. Wouldn't respond, anything at all. Just not there. Some of the most egregious I'd ever seen. And I had to call the judge to watch for slow play like 3 times, and the judge kept on leaving to answer other judge calls. And I'm like, I need someone to watch this person so I can actually finish the match. Or at least, like, watch from a different angle or something and see what they're doing. It was very, very frustrating. But I managed to win on turn 5 in turns. Escalate to head judge. How do you appeal somebody's, like, watching for slow play? Are you allowed to video them for proof? I have no idea, C. Seraphim. Asked to speak from the judge away from the table? Sure. I don't think at the time I realized that, like, if you just speak to a judge away from the table, you can also then, like, ask for time back on the clock, like an extension. But regardless, like, to me, it didn't seem like it should be necessary. And every time a judge was watching, like, he played fine. Like, the problem was solved, right? Very hard to figure out what was actually going on there. In a time-efficient manner, right? Because it's, like, a baffling thing to do. Nothing I've, like, seen before or since. Like, just no pretext. Not playing the game. I mean, that's hilarious, Spawn. Asked to talk to a judge away from the table. Come back, and then confidently Pithing Needle, naming Krark-Clan Ironworks. Krark-Clan Ironworks, for those not familiar, is a mana ability, so Needle does nothing to it. It'd be like if you're trying to needle a Talisman or a Lion's Eye Diamond or something, right? But your opponent is going to assume that you wouldn't do that unless the play was, you know, an effective one. Just take it at face value, not check with the judge themselves. I was watching a buddy of mine play Storm, and he's just sweating, like going through these like super complicated lines. And I can't say anything, you know, because it's a competitive match. And I'm looking down and I see there's like a needle in play, and my opponent's like, and my buddy's like not cracking his Lion's Eye Diamonds to like win easier. And then he like wins and he looks at me and he's like so satisfied. He's like, I did it. I beat Needle on Lion's Eye Diamond. And I was just like, oh, bud. I probably would have done it by cracking Lion's Eye Diamond. Is the judge allowed to say you're misrepresenting the game state with that? What? That's not misrepresenting anything. Pithing Needle on Krark-Clan Ironworks. That is a legal play. A very savvy judge could maybe make some kind of a case that you're like wasting the judge's time with your like buffoonery, asking them the rules question in the first place. But they'd have to have like a lot of context, because then you're ruling on intent and stuff, which is very tricky business. I'm gonna get this Palantir rolling, huh? think they're gonna mill anyway, so we could collect our 3 damage. Or we could get greedy. I might sorcery speed this Foff. See if I can find like a chain lightning for that headliner. I'm taking a lot of damage here, huh? No, that's the same story, Scuff Proof. Yeah, that was a classic. Because that happened in the top 8 of a GP. Abby. That was a classic situation. You could always check Oracle text, Skittles. Maybe that's not true. I remember that you could ask a judge for the Oracle text. So maybe I'm overstating it. If you could describe like a suitable amount of the card. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Skittles. I think there probably was a shift there. You're gonna miscube? Me too, Zalax. Get a couple of turns of Palantir here. Oh, very cool, Volupy. If they had milled, they would have died to the mill too, so... Like, they would have milled Sneak Attack Emrakul, and then we would have finished them off with Ballista. Cool. Very difficult to stream a pickup tournament like that. With all the downtime and such. You feel like I'd enjoy pre-modern? I played a lot of pre-modern Skittles. I have most of it built. I'm missing Mox Diamonds, and I'm missing the Replenish deck. But I've got like Stifle Knot and Elves, Survival Things, Allurin. Have you ever seen people playing Urzatron in a blue-white shell in pre-modern? That was probably my doing. They probably started with my base. I designed a Tron deck for that format that was playing quad Stroke of Genius and quad Decree of Justice. And then just like a lot of typical blue-white control stuff. That was a while ago, though. I haven't played in some months. As someone who has never played Paper Magic, is it a common to encounter cheaters and slow players? That depends on the type of Magic you're playing, Salt, and the location you're playing. So if you end up at like a bad store, it can be awkward. There could be like an awkward number of slow players and cheaters, but those stores are very rare, and they usually don't get a lot of like wizard support and stuff. So they tend to do poorly. You are likely going to be playing at a store where there's very little of either of those things when you first start playing Paper Magic. Highly recommend checking it out, Salt. Oh yeah, intent is super necessary for something to be called cheating, hum. I cast this now. Mantide is in the cube. I'm gonna cast it now. I'm scared. I've got the fear. Could get really punished if they play like a Rabble Master here. Could I please draw some blue mana for my blue cards? Please. Yeah, cheaters is not relative, I'm 333. Cheating very specifically means intent. And if someone just makes a mistake or an error or whatever, that's not the same thing as cheating. To be clear, not a relative thing, not open to interpretation, has a very specific definition, which some people screw up. Well, that doesn't make it relative. Someone being consistently bad at the rules when it benefits them is likely a sign of a cheater, yeah. No, my island! No! Yeah, genuinely sloppy players will also make errors in that are not in their favor on occasion. Hey, there we go. Should have left the red open here. I kind of want to play the sneak attack and activate it in the same turn against this opponent who like has a bunch of disenchant effects. So I'm just going to FOF here for a lane drop. Again, Cody can't focus. That is not what cheating means. Again, cheating will always require intent. Someone who is cheating will be like, I am intentionally breaking the rules. They won't say this, but they are intentionally breaking the rules to gain an advantage. If you screw up a rules interaction, that is not the same thing as cheating. This, to be very clear, that is not what that is. Screwing up is not cheating. I don't know how many times I need to repeat this, but I'll repeat it as many times as it needs to sink in. Well, you screwing up was not the same thing as cheating. People screw up rules interactions all the time. Very strong players screw up rules interactions or need to call a judge or what have you. They are not cheating. There are a lot of rules, yeah. Well, we did have the win next turn. Yeah, drawing extra cards is sus, but calling the judge on yourself is automatically unsus, right? You mana weaved for like 2 full years without knowing it was not okay. Yeah, so the issue with mana weaving is not that it's illegal. It's not like an illegal thing to do. The issue is it's a little suspicious because there's no real reason to do it if you're gonna if you're gonna properly shuffle your deck afterwards anyway. So a proper shuffle should leave your deck fully randomized, regardless of its starting, whether it's like weaved or split up or whatever. So what you're doing is you're just like wasting everybody's time. And it looks sus because like the only reason to do it strategically is if you then improperly shuffle afterwards, because that would be a way to gain an advantage. But I understand why nobody would correct you, because it's a legal thing you can do. Not illegal, just sus for the reasons outlaid. People definitely don't properly shuffle in casual play, yeah. So the switch between casual play to tournaments could be rough there. I could see that for sure. That game kind of made me want to have Manamorphose in, Get double blue off of 2 mountains. Opponent's got a lot of disenchants too. I don't know if we can count on our artifact lands. Let's cut the time warp. What is mana weaving? Mana weaving's when you like say you've got a deck that's 24 lands, and so like 1/3 lands. So 20 lands, 40 other cards, right? You would go 2 other cards, 1 land, 2 other cards, 1 land. Basically stacking your deck such that there weren't any mana clumps or anything. Just always gonna have smooth draws. which doesn't matter. Like, you could fully stack your deck, but then if you shuffle it randomly afterwards, if you fully Random Mana it afterwards, it doesn't matter, right? So then people are like, okay, well, why is he sketch stacking his deck first before shuffling? That is the sus part. That I was talking about pile shuffling. Yeah, pile shuffling isn't mana weaving, not necessarily. Pile shuffling is just shuffling down in piles. I think people's big issue with it is that it's like not necessarily random. If you wanted to pay attention to the stacks and everything, you could do that. A lot of people do it because it helps them count their deck. This is like slightly faster for them to count that way. If someone pile shuffles before the first game of the round, I won't say anything. But if they do it like in between games, that's a little egregious. Correct. Double nickel pile shuffling can be mana weaving. Hey, that's a good draw. That's a real good draw. My life total was not happy over here. They might give me a treasure. One of my more embarrassing interactions. Oh shit. This fireball just got better. One of my absolute most embarrassing interactions, which doesn't like make me look particularly good, but that's fine. I could share the story. I was playing at a pro tour, and I was doing pretty poorly. I was like 0-3 or something. I was like feeling pretty defeated. Hey Ziegler, thanks for the sub. Thanks for sharing that Twitch Prime. And I did a quick pile shuffle before my started my limited match. And I counted 39 cards, but because I was like in that like kind of depressed mental state, I was just like, I don't even care. I'm just gonna fucking. I probably miscounted, you know, just like shortcutting my brain to like presenting. And my opponent, this super nice European, also piles my deck. And he counts out 39 cards, and he like looks at me, and I open my deck case, and I see that there was a card stuck on the inside of the case, and I'm just like feeling so fucking embarrassed. Like I had the information, and I like did this like idiot thing, and now I'm gonna get punished. I'm like already doing poorly at this pro tour, and I'm just like feeling like really bad about myself, you know. And my opponent goes, "Good thing we counted," and then adds it to the pile and shuffles it in and hands me my deck bang. Super nice person. Absolutely destroyed me. Just the least close match I've ever played. Just fucking, just was like turn 2, 3-1 haste, turn 3, 3-3 haste, turn 4 rare, 4-4 haste. I'm just like, yeah, I can't even be mad, but yeah, you win. So I think the opponent's going to bring Flage back and kill Dak, which will at least mean that the bolt's not going in my face. Better than me at math and magic, yeah. I'm bested in the marketplace of ideas and the regular marketplace and just like every single way that I could be bested in a match. Almost killed this Adeline, huh? One more mana here. Well, that works too. Kind of glad they fetch tapped him. Is this a show and tell deck? You better believe it is. We have show and tell and we have sneak attack in here somewhere. Not in the top half of our deck, but somewhere. Brutal high Mio. I was in the one of my least favorite one of my more traumatic PTQ top 8 losses. I misunderstood an opponent, thought they were passing the turn back to me. Untapped, drew a card, and it was ruled drawing extra cards, and it was a game loss at that point. I was so upset. Super long card trip, been grinding all day, just the dumbest way to lose. Still don't have counterspell mana here. Paragon. Well, I got some cards to bring back with this Paragon. This would be a good time to draw a sneak attack. This is Dulamog, right? They're at 13. So they have to block the World Spine Worm is a thing. Because they're at 13. I guess when the Mire dies, they gain 2 life, go up to 15. Still means they have to block the Worm. Worm might be better. Well, that ruling has changed, Dragonheart. The ruling for drawing an extra card has changed over the years. And now it's the opponent like looks at your hand and they get to like a free Thoughtseize or something. You're confused whether rules have no wiggle room. I agree with that strongly. I do think judges should be given more leeway. I think I lose this game. They flaged my face. I'll be at 2 life. So I need to rip something here. What's a pub feed? So a pub is a bar, and feed is food. So it's bar food. Ah, damn. Fair enough. Magic's early history is super scummy. It is, but they've also like made like a lot of good rules adjustments from that time period. Like just because the early years of Magic were super scummy and then they dramatically improved on that doesn't mean that like the spot where they first dramatically improved on it, they just like stopped improving the rules after that time period. There are specific situations where it makes sense to give judges leeway in how things play out. Like a situation where, for example, someone forgets to pay for a spell, and then they pass to the next turn. A judge would be like, okay, well, too much time has passed, potentially, based on what's happened. We can't go back. Players resolving the same situation might be like, oh, I forgot to pay for this. My bad, I'll tap the mana. But if a judge has more freedom in how they make judge decisions, then they can take a more common sense approach to very niche situations. Maybe they still have to explain to their the head judge why they would do such a thing, why they would deviate. Yeah, weird Sanity Well. Weird that would be on my mind. I don't think LSV won that whole tournament, Dragonheart. I believe he won a few rounds in that tournament, and nobody asked him to see the win condition until like round 4 or something. Is how I remember it. Made it to the top 8, fair enough. Split the top 8. Alright. I rescind my comment. If you're splitting that top 8 with no win condition in your deck, that's a win. That's a I take it back. That's a win by any fair definition. Before deck lists were shared, yeah, but well, the deck lists aren't like automatically shared now, right? It's tournament by tournament. That's a bummer, Pillsbury Doughboy. Fortunately, I think that sort of person is a minority. Someone who's just like aggressive for no reason. Wants to make your time miserable for a competitive advantage. Yeah, side events are typically pretty casual, Plinkin. Pretty good vibes. Well, that's 15 fucking damage. The Dream, the Palantir Dream. I don't think they have an answer. Oh, they do have plenty of answers. Yeah, why'd I play that? Well, it's a backup win con. Yeah, for a minute there, I was thinking they were mono red based on their openers. I completely forgot that they had a bunch of white cards in their deck. I shouldn't have played the Sink Attack. Because they might just go like Plains Disenchanted. Opponent plays this ominous Plains. That's not gonna do her. We're waiting on the little leg spinny thing. Doodad. What's up, Maxwell? Yeah, come on, Throbber. Moto is doing a lot of throbbing today. I'm gonna put up with it rather than like switching games because it's the last day of fucking Vintage Cube. Gotta get my cube on, right? Gotta get my cube on.